Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play Pathologic. In the last video, we began day 12. There is no one on the roads. There is no one, like, no children, no workers, no one wandering the streets whatsoever. There is no disease anywhere in the town. There is no looting occurring. There are no thugs on the road. The only thing it appears that we have to do today is talk to the people who have sent us letters and see that their bound are taken care of. And even then, I suspect we don't really need to do this. This is just an optional thing if we so desire. We have already handled Brock's bound, making sure that they're all alive and well. And now we are going to see Clara and verify that that is the case for her as well. Do you remember the letter I sent you? The time has come. The victory I am trying to lead you to is not enabled by reason. It was made possible by faith alone. You cannot prove it. You can only feel it deep within your heart. I'm in the left wing of the cemetery, so come along if you want to talk. My plan is the only one that will work. Nothing has to die. Clara. So I'm getting the impression that what these actually are a way for us to choose a different ending if I didn't want to choose the bachelor's ending. And I suppose if I failed to get my own ending, which is to say one of my bound died, then I wouldn't be able to get to choose my ending, right? We're not going to be allowed in to see the Inquisitor. But I think we actually did keep all of our own bound alive. With the possible exception of Olgimsky Jr., but he's not listed as a bound for me. So maybe that was changed at some point? Actually, it doesn't look like he's any of the people's bound. So I guess only Capella was from the Olgimsky's line. In any case, we're going to go see Clara. I've already healed everyone else I could find, that I could think of. So the only person left to... the only person left. There is no one left to heal from her bound. So, unless there's someone I've forgotten. And I have a single Schmauder left. So I can only heal one more person anyway, if it comes down to that. So hopefully I did not in fact mess this up. And we will actually be able to keep all of her bound alive as well. Because the good Lord knows she didn't decide to do so. I'm recording this part almost immediately after the other part ended, by the way, everyone. So, and I'm finishing this up before part 37 has been uploaded. I'm just so interested in seeing the actual reasons why this all occurred. Maybe finding out some interesting lore about the town we found ourselves in. Anything whatsoever we can discover about what on earth is going on in this city slash town. I'm really curious about it. Again, I suspect that everything is not as it seems here. But maybe I'm completely wrong, in which case that'd be cool too, to discover that. And here we are at the cemetery. Now, she mentioned the left wing of the cemetery, so I'm assuming she's to where the other group of guards are, hanging around outside. Oop, and I'm not where I thought I was, or am I? I am where I thought I was, okay. It stinks for these guys, leaving their bed linens out in the rain. Unless that's what they were aiming for. Alright, so I think she's in this section? I've never been here before. That's an interesting wall up ahead of us.
Neither the town nor the tower have to be sacrificed. Everything can be saved.
See how everything turns out? Who could have thought? You have to sacrifice something, either the town or the polyhedron. One of the queens wants to destroy the wondrous tower, while the other seeks to raise as much as possible just to make sure. Do you have a different solution? And if my confidants are alive, I will come to the council with you, and there won't be a single queen there that I won't be able to convince to my cause. But you are absolutely sure that they're alive? Do you really want me to come to the council? Yes, I'm sure all your bound are well. Come to the cathedral. I'll give you the right to decide. Clara will come to the cathedral. If I will let her make the ultimate decision, she will force the commander to withdraw his troops, and the current situation will remain unchanged. Yet might the refusal to interfere be seen as a decision itself? In this case, the town will remain a machine of death, no matter how pretty. Oh, do we have to go back to Artemy and tell him his people are alive? We might have to do that. What time is it? Well, we have plenty of time, 10:30. Alright, so what's next? Let's go ahead and read the Inquisitor's reminder. Tonight at 7, proceedings will be held at the town cathedral. I earnestly request your attendance. You will introduce your argument before the obtuse commander in order to substantiate our, I should hope, decision. I also ask you to put all your current affairs in order before the proceedings. The situation is at a stalemate. Whatever authority I wield is not enough to guarantee that right decision is enforced. P.S. I rely upon your discretion, as well as your decency. Aglaia Laich, Inquisitor. I think she also wants the polyhedron to survive and the town to be destroyed. I think I will probably choose that answer as well. I've been thinking about it a little. I mean, not too much, because I'm going to be recording this part more or less right after the other one. But I think... I think I've said my piece about this town numerous times. And although I was not here to, in fact, save the polyhedron, I was here to save the people. I was here to learn about... The Bachelor was here to learn about what it takes to extend human life beyond normal means. We were unable to communicate with Simon. However, with the existence of the polyhedron, it may be possible to still communicate with him in some capacity due to the Kane's involvement. And it sounds like some sort of magical abilities that they possess, right? Again, it sounds like Gregory Kane is able to hold all the thoughts of his brother inside of himself and possibly release this into the polyhedron itself or some other structure that, that Peter Stamonton will construct. And so I think it may behoove us to, or behoove us, it, I think is in theme for the Bachelor to go along with this choice, which is destroy the town, save the polyhedron. Unless I get to witness all of these other people's arguments myself, Artemy is at the works. I'm totally circumventing it the way I'm currently going. Oh, hold on. Before we do that, we should look and see what letter we got from the powers that be. Bachelor. We thought we should write because you don't seem to be listening to what we tell you. You've gotten out of hand. As of late, you keep doing whatever you please. This is unacceptable. You are spoiling the game. If this letter reaches you in good time, do come to the polyhedron. They will let you inside. Keep your eyes tightly closed, descend to the bottom and say, 345. Open your eyes. We'd love to have a little chat with you. The people who own you. That's interesting. So there's another possible option. I guess we'll see what the powers that be have to say. But first we talk to Artemy. I was going the completely wrong way. We still have plenty of time, though. Maybe I don't need to do this. But maybe I do. It sounds like because we had already saved all of Clara's people, that she will be guaranteed to speak in front of the council, with her bound lending their support to her, something of the sort. So we might as well do the same for Artemy. And again, I could be swayed to see things from their point of view if I like their arguments. But if we don't see a speech or we don't hear them talk, I'll probably just pass on them then and stick with my own decision. I'm still am heavily leaning towards the Bachelor's solution anyway. I mean, we are playing the Bachelor after all, and if I do play Artemy, I would choose Artemy's answer for the current predicament of the town in that playthrough.
My teeth hurt with all the grinding.
So, is everything done? Your confidents are alive and well. Come to the console. If you really want this, Onion. You are aware of my plans. I am. We'll meet at the console. Barak will come to the console. If I will allow him to pass the ultimate judgment, he will destroy the polyhedron so the town may survive at the cost of its uncommonness. Once again, the town will become the same backwater hole it was before. The Hippocratic Oath enjoins us to preserve the life of a genius by means of a curative lobotomy. Vigorous applause. Yeah, it sounds like we have the option of choosing a different ending if I so desire, but I think we'll choose our ending. And, or, again, as I mentioned, it sounds like these options are available, would be available to us if I failed to complete today's task somehow. That's actually interesting, right? Because I have been mentioning before how it might have been wiser for me to say fail day 10's or 9's quest and let the military, when the military showed up and I was trying to get into the abattoir, this way I would have had some additional time that day to complete my task. Though it turns out in the end I didn't need it. I double checked, by the way, and I do not have a save file on this computer for my Bachelor before I had already sent Olgimsky Jr. to the gallows, basically. Or rather, to the cemetery, more literally. And so I cannot undo my action without playing the game for an extra 30 hours first. And so, yep, we're going to get whatever ending we're going to earn with someone here in the town has died. What are you doing out here? I'm pretty sure Market Motel is alive. No, no, no. This will not do. You have received an invitation of the powers that be, haven't you? Why haven't you visited the focus of the Specular Tower? It's a rather curious place. Go, have a look, and then come back here. Otherwise, the impression will be lost on you. Okay. So it sounds like we're going back there, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm going back there. We're coming back here after we see Khan. And so it looks like we got lucky giving the panacea away to preserve our life at the hands of those military to keep Andre Samatin alive. And I guess the way that works is that you have to give up your panacea, but you'll gain another one back for it from the Inquisitor to make up for that fact. And if I look back at the situation now, we missed, I think, 1 or 2 schmouters during this playthrough. Again, in the early days. And so it's not that bad overall. Although, to be honest, I did reload a lot when I was, when I was diseased. How many times did we reload? A whole lot we reloaded. Whenever I was killed, obviously I reloaded, so that happened pretty often. And then the more times than I can count. We got killed by gunfire, especially over the past 4 days or so when the military showed up. We died once or twice to thieves, actually more like 5 or 6 times to thieves' daggers. And a few times I wish I had died and did not when I got hit, but survived because I was wearing clothing. I reloaded several times when I got bit by a rat and or plagued, I think at least 5 times. Though I did try to limit that to only once a day. And we started day 4 over from scratch. So, in terms of playing this game with where my decisions, I keep them, I did not do that all that often. That's kind of a shame in retrospect, looking back at this. Although, maybe you guys can't really blame me. I am glad, though, that we made it to the very end. Although, so if I stop and look at the situation, though, I was only reloading because, number one, sometimes it was a bunch of BS, I really think. Some of those plague instances were really crap. The rats are always crap. Completely at 100% silent rats sneaking up on you to bite you at your heels. That's the only thing that they do too. Everyone else kind of just ignores them. That's a bunch of crap. It really is a bunch of crap. I wonder if rats are in the second Pathologic. I'm imagining they are. I've heard that the second Pathologic's gameplay is quite different and better than this one's. But again, I think, well, is that right? It's different. I probably can't say if it's actually better.
My path was called High Day. If not for the plague, I'd rebel against the grown-ups.
Okay, I think we go into this. We do. Okay, and now we have to head downstairs, according to what we learned. Hey, by the way, it seems like I did a good job knowing, figuring out what to do in this place based on the one time I was here and how I accidentally left when stepping onto a picture. I'm going to guess there's another portrait downstairs as well. Why were none of you around earlier, by the way? I really needed you to pick up another schmouter, but I guess in retrospect I did not need it. Before we call it quits, let's take a look at the stuff I still have on me. So we have 11 monomyciniums still on us. 2 bandage sets, 7 bandages, 4 Meridorms, 3 Delta tablets, enough food to get through today, and a ton of things to trade with the kids. Look at all those razors, 19 razors. I'm guessing that's what we have to do. I mean, I don't see how we close our eyes and count. Don't be upset. Being a toy is also nice. But why did you play it like this? Why couldn't you have chosen a different game? Like tag or something, huh? 'Cause we've been to a funeral. They've been sending us out to the garden for 10 days in a row so that we wouldn't get in anyone's way. They've been taking us to the cemetery for a week now, Bachelor. And if you keep being naughty, I'll take you with me next time and leave among the wreaths so that you know better. So who died on you? No one did. No one ever does. Why is he talking about it? Shh, hush, hush, no need to cry. Oh, come on. Hey, look, it's Bachelor. Wow, he's so big. How'd you find us? They've already told you, right? So the powers that be are you. I want you to tell me everything. No problem. What do you want to know? What diabolical game are you playing? Look, It's a magic sandbox. See how it reflects in the mirrors? It's because everything's for real there. Here's a town. We've made it out of sand. And there's this awful thing going on there, an epidemic. So it's all crumbling. The town's falling apart. But we've sent heroes there to fix it. So how did you go about sending the heroes? It's rotting, see? We hope they think of something. Mure it in sand, at least. They're magical too, you know. The heroes are. Take you, for example. Look how it all worked out. You used to be a doll, and now you're alive. Perhaps the rest also work out like this. Did you know your dolls were alive? Everything is alive around here. It's the structure. It brings things to life. It's not like we're twisting anyone's arm. It just happens, all on its own. We only built the town, and then it became miraculous all on its own. And the dolls? We just stuck the throwaway ones in. They were lame anyway. Sorry. Just don't you dare crush anything here. I'll try to fix it. Don't be upset. Being a toy is also nice. I hope I can still switch places with you someday, you powers that will have been. That can happen too. Nanny says everything happens. Only I will be more humane. That's a bit mean. See, doll? It was us. We've arranged all this. Turned out to be great. We've never made a world like this before. It's magical. We planted it. And here's what has grown up. But now there's rot everywhere. I'm a human being. In that case, you're a human being that closely resembles one of our toys. It's a bachelor, but we're calling it Daniel Dinkovsky. For fun. It can't be. I'm not your toy. Really? So you're not a doll? Go ahead and hit me then. Well, why are you just standing there? I dare you. Hit me with everything you have. What shall I do now? Stop moaning. Get up and help us fix the town. You were doing well. Just a little bit left till the game is over. It's time for us to go home anyway. I don't believe you. You're not real. Our mission changed. Our mission changed. Indeed, it was a sandbox plague. The children who were playing there must have been on their way home from the funeral. A sorrowful game may have seemed an appropriate diversion to them, or maybe they simply felt their childhood was slipping away. One way or another, the hero has been bitterly deceived. All this time, the hero took himself to be a living man who was trying to rescue his fellow human beings. Beyond doubt, this belief has filled him with fervor, helped him to reach the finale, and even be somewhat triumphant. In vain. It was all in vain. The hero was but a puppet, striving to help the imaginary population of a town that was nothing more than a drawing. Strangely, there is still not a word to be heard from the powers that be. Perhaps they became bored of it all, or were called back home for supper. So, it wasn't quite what I had suspected, if what we just saw is actually accurate and not some trick of the magic of the polyhedron. I thought that maybe the group of kids we saw playing the game at the start, I thought that we were playing a role in that game. But in truth, even that was not real. So, okay, this makes sense to me, and is kind of what I was suspecting. So, I thought that, again, assuming what we saw was actually true, I thought that we are playing one of the kids that we saw in the very beginning. Like, there was a little kid that looked like the Bachelor. There was a little kid that could have passed as Arnemy, like with a weapon in his hand. There was another kid who looked like a girl, like Clara, the girl in particular, Tara Taichik, right in the very beginning of the game. And I thought all those kids, I thought we were the kid that looked like the Bachelor. Murky, I think is his name, and this is just some fancy game that we are a part of, which would explain why there's magic, because the kids are just imagining it, or a bunch of other kids are playing, and these kids get dressed in sheets and they run at us looking like the plague. But we experience it because of the role we're playing, the way the game is expressing this to us. We experience it as if we are actually diseased, and there's magic in this world because, again, it's a kid's imagination. My goodness, these kids have an incredible amount of imagination. Another alternative, though, could be that, again, the magic of the polyhedron has allowed two of the children to create a copy of the world in an attempt to figure out a way to deal with the plague that's actually happening here. There's so many other ways I guess you could interpret it, besides just it being, this is all those kids' game. Right? We did learn that kids have dreams and can share them with other people and make them feel certain things. So that could be what's actually happening to us. All we did was just walk down into the polyhedron, entered into one of the kids' dreams, and saw what they were doing, which is somewhat very similar to what is actually happening outside. I'll have to, now that, once I'm done with this game, I'm going to spend some time reading some internet and see what everyone thought of the ending. Now that we're done with... Oh, a letter from the makers! Please do come by to meet us at the theater if you have a spare minute. We'd like to have a rather inconsequential but mature talk with you. We apologize in advance for the inconvenience. The people who executed the whole thing. Well, I was going back there anyway because Executor hinted that we should do that. Oh man. So I'm smiling because I was wrong about the ending, but not off the mark too much. Looking at this now, I still think I like this very much. Because it doesn't really matter where the town is situated, right? Not really. As long as the message gets across correctly, which, again, would be the way humanity would deal with such a threat as this pandemic. We'll talk a little bit more about it after we're done here. Alright, Executor, before we step in... Come in. They're waiting for you. Take my coat and bag. A tragedian and an executor. Or is it just the executor here today? Nope, they're both here. Hello, you two. I find this strangely fitting. These were two of the first people we could have talked to, who were giving us information about playing. No, it's true. Don't shake your head, no. These two gave us information about how to play the game. And it turns out it was very important because we were in a game the entire time. And as the kids had said, the game is actually almost over. We've barely got more than 8 hours remaining in the game. Actually, less than 8 hours remaining. The hero is a doll, but so are the children. The real game is what's happening between you and us. I cannot leave Bachelor's body. You are imposing your limits upon me. I think he's talking to us, me, you, the gamer playing the game, right? The hero is a doll, but the children also are dolls. So this is like a whole fourth wall breaking occurrence here, where they are speaking to us, and I am in a way talking to the developer of it. I cannot leave the Bachelor's body. You're imposing your limits upon me. Bachelor has lost his battle for freedom since the very day he was born. What about you? I wanted to stop the epidemic. And I did. Even a make-believe one. But did you understand what the epidemic really was? It was truly rather obvious. I know now that it was all a children's game in a glass sandbox. But what for? Was the disease the true evil, though? The disease is only a method, the weapon of evil, just like a scalpel in Bachelor's hands. The disease will go, devouring itself. Then there'll be war, famine, heresy. Was it really worth all the effort? Look around. All this for a single wretched town. No. It was the town that had been built for you, not the other way around. We apologize if it's been a disappointment. So you're curious as to what fate I will choose for the town. We have to make sure that it truly is you who is making the decision. Are you absolutely positive that your choice is not predetermined by anyone or anything? Well, I have made numerous proclamations about my disgust of how they treated me, the doctor, in my attempt to save the town. Because, again, I did very little doctoring at the end of the day beyond looking at blood under a microscope. Most of the people simply ignored my recommendations. They wrote their own, actually, right? We saw suburbs orders, which had conflicting statements in it given to the normal people who were told, do what you want, compared to the nobles and the bound and the guards who said, this is super dangerous. And we told the people that there'll be a vaccine, or rather, we told them that there won't be, but we told the guards there could be. I don't remember the actual letter from that day now, but I remember that it conflicted. Could it have been otherwise? Oh, absolutely. When every step you take has been predicted, you are still free to either take it or not. When it has been foreseen, however, you remain a mere puppet in someone else's hands. Being my puppeteer is way too good a position for you. The hero, okay, and it's tragedian. You see how sad our fortune is. We put all our hopes in you. We poor actors were hoping you'd become the director of this new show. The old one has been beaten to death. But you turned out to be a doll. That was a blow for me, too. I thought it was a human being. Kind sir, can I help you with something? Tell me, who are you in this puppet world? We do not belong to the puppet shows. We are the actors of a mime performance. I, for example, am a miserable actor. My line of character is always moaning the inevitable losses. Our repertoire is quite limited, really. The esteemed impresario may have oversold the importance of the local theater. I don't like any of these answers. Stop messing with me. Are you a child? I am exactly what you think I am. A collection of poorly rendered polygons on a screen. Why are you giving me that look? Do not ascribe a more important role to me than the one I have been assigned from the very beginning. I'll fail a bigger role. The mask isn't expressive enough. Undoubtedly. That was well done. That was well done. So what we do to the town, in the end, doesn't matter. Because none of this actually is real. So I think, then, that I will choose, unless, again, one of the others can convince me of their correctness, the Bachelor's choice to save the polyhedron and destroy the town, as opposed to listening to Clara, who tries to save everything and probably lies to do so, or Artemy, who wants to save the town at the cost of the polyhedron. Is Pathologic 2... Does it end this way as well? I'll make the assumption it does. It must. And I guess all the other characters, which is like Clara and Artemy, the Harospecs, and the Changeling, they must end up in the same situation, where they complete all their tasks, and then the final day, they get shown the same thing, and told the same things. Or close enough to it, I suppose. Okay, well, I can't think of anything else to do. We are all done, unless I'm horrifically wrong. So we're gonna sleep for 3 hours? It's 2 o'clock right now. 4, 5, 6. Were there any hints that this was going to be the way it was? If what we had seen at the bottom of the polyhedron is accurate. The only hint I think that we had was the very, very beginning. Nothing else in this gave me the impression that we are in fact in some imaginary place. Well, no, I suppose there is. The fact that none of this something feels off with the entire thing. But not enough to make it all... That nothing has a name, that we don't know what country we're in, what town it is. That we've had executors communicate and communicate with us for the tutorial early on. I suppose all of these were indeed hints. And I also I do very much like their working of it into the story, these creatures, these people as well. I've always liked when they find a gameplay reason why these things exist. Like in Anachronox, the Time Menders, they actually explained why these creatures exist that let you save the game and then reload it later on. I thought that was a very nice touch, for example. So that this game has done the same, I like it. I very much like it. We are literally waiting 19 more minutes in-game for it to be time for us to visit the cathedral. And then I guess we'll see whatever ending cutscenes there are. And I will choose to save the polyhedron if it comes down to it. Again, unless Clara or the Artemy can convince me otherwise. Looking at this, taking this scene in, I've really enjoyed my time running around this crazy town. Alright, everyone. In a few more seconds, it's time to walk in and see what ending we get. Come, Bachelor. The Assembly is awaiting your decision. The queens of this chessboard are in a deadlock. They have each other pinned down. The game may very well end in a tragic stalemate. You are a pawn at the finishing line. Deliver your checkmate, mate. Do I hear laughter from under your ugly beak? Funny. Now everything will be decided. The Inquisitor lass seems to think she has used you. Confused? Don't you fret. She's also nothing. Everything was leading to this. You are now acting in the interest of inevitability. You can't get away from it. Evil conquers all. Make way.
That tower will have to be destroyed. That's how we procure Ichor.
Look at them. You see now that she is a victim? Do not paint her a demon. She is just honestly doing her duty, like you or me. You're protecting Aglia. Do you really have something to say in her defense? I'm just still confused. What has she done to deceive you? Did she lie to you? Has she withheld the truth? I think you've learned everything you have without her help. Every conclusion you've made is your own. The whole town was at your disposal. She had to protect the town at any cost. That was her purpose. And yet she tried to settle personal accounts with her deceased sister while claiming to fulfill a noble duty. Why? She came as a light-bringer capable of resolving all our misfortunes with the power of her intelligence, and ended up being a traitor that tried to sell me another lie under the guise of ultimate truth. You're just holding a grudge, Onion, nothing more. You only feel betrayed because you've entrusted yourself to her. But that was your own choice. It's unwise to brand someone a savior beforehand, and then denounce them when they fail to live up to your expectations, even though they didn't know you had them. I don't like any of this answer. I kind of wish I didn't talk with him, actually, and choose this. She knew. That's the difference. She knew and exploited my hopes. You brought this on yourself. Don't try to get even with Aglaia. If you want to destroy the town and save the tower only to get to her, and push her towards her demise, that would be unbecoming of you, Onion. It is you who will turn into a spiteful puppeteer driven by this thirst for revenge. It's not about revenge. I just want to keep my word and to fulfill my mission fairly. That much at least is true.
I can barely walk. Enough for today, eh?
Look at them. You see now that she's a victim. Do not paint her a demon. She is just honestly doing her duty, like you or me. We have very different definitions of duty, then. What is your duty, Onion? My duty is to find out the truth and act in good conscience. This is what both the powers that be and the Inquisitor have demanded of me, yet both of them have concealed the crucial truth.
people are willing to sacrifice themselves so that the town survives. Help me get to the cathedral. I'll show you.
Well, are you planning to make up your mind anytime soon? I would still like to know how you're going to keep the town intact. No, Bachelor, you will never understand this. You are very smart, but your intelligence holds you back. You will never come to understand my truth. Even though you're close to Maria and believe in Simon's abilities, you are still all too far from understanding the higher purpose of these things. And my truth only comes together on that level. Both you and Barack are semi-illiterate simpletons. So why are you both pitying me? Why won't you respect my knowledge as much as I respect yours? Your victory is a victory of pure reason. Look, just like we all, you have reconstructed a picture of the whole universe and found the root of what happened, but your picture is asator and bare bones. You have merely come to understand the mechanics of the events. You are generally a mechanic of a medic. Who are you, then? Me and Barack, we're different. And much more profound, believe me. Your world is mechanically consistent and rational. You want to keep what is reasonable and to destroy what is necessary to destroy in order to complete your tragic mission with minimal risk. If it were so, I would not have taken you to the cathedral, changeling. There Maria stands. She looks at you hopefully, her velvet eyes already ripe with scarlet fire. What is she waiting for, then? What is she doing here at all? I don't know. I haven't talked to her yet. We haven't. Which one of these people do I talk to begin the end conversation?
I haven't slept for 3 nights in a row. I don't think I'll manage another one.
I am indeed powerless, as you can see. I'm accused of having arranged your discovery. I have lost my vote of confidence. So tell them whose discovery it is, for the laurels are yours. Are you in doubt? I've already made up my mind. Let's not waste our time on unnecessary speeches.
My path was called the Return of the Magic. I wanted to claim the power to create a place of miracles and lovely lawlessness.
I knew you would come. When will you begin to execute your design, Maria? I have already begun, my Daniel. When the night falls, and the wind scatters the smoke above the scorched earth, and the dust of the buildings demolished settles, you will see several new constellations light up the sky. They will plunge their light towards us, and when the first specks of this light reach the constellations of the polyhedron, a miracle will happen. And what will they be like? How are you going to call them? I'll see, but I expect them to be mostly red. Ruby, scarlet, crimson, carmine, merlot, mahogany, vermilion, garnet, rose, pink, burgundy. Perhaps you may even notice something familiar in the structure of these constellations. Where will they come from? They have existed for a long time already. People just couldn't see them before because their light was hurrying towards us from far beyond. Now the first rays of these stars are about to reach our surfaces. We will see their light reflected in the specular planes of the preserved polyhedron. Why are you here, Maria? You ask strange questions. Don't you see that this is my town now? I am the power here. I am the mother, and since I am to give birth to a new town, I want to witness the demise of the old one. This is my duty. I am the last of the Canes. What about your brother? Aren't you going to share your power with him? There's nothing to be done about it. They have to free up the space for the new guests. My brother will become embittered, betray me, and rebel against me. But I will find a way to deal with him. He will cower behind Capella's back willingly when my mother's eyes frown and glare at him. Have you become a mistress already? No, I haven't. You won't see it here. Unless you're planning to stay, of course. I won't. I'll leave the town on the military train at dawn.
Yes.
So, Bachelor, It was neither greed nor plotting nor circumstance that has informed your choice, but your conscience alone. I've been given orders to level everything here, but if that's not necessary, I'm willing to trust your judgment, risking my life and honor, for I am merciful. Where shall I point the weapon? Let the settlement be destroyed. There's no need to hurt the Polyhedron. The survivors will find shelter there until we vaccinate them, and the epidemic dies out. So you think that the town is doomed? I do. The soil underneath it is soaked with poison. We're very lucky that the ground here is so fastidious. Plow every inch of it up with shells, shake it and pull its rocks out, split it into cracks so that no one would ever dare re-inhabit this land. This side of the river is uninhabitable. I see. And you believe that the tower will make it through the bombardment despite its base being so thin? Yes. The tower must keep its balance. I've studied its structure, and I'm inclined to believe that it's rather earthquake-resistant. It's like a weight on a steel spring. If no shell explodes on the opposite bank of the river, the Polyhedron will remain intact. The shells will only fall where I point them to fall. Let it be so, then. Can you prove that this is a good way out? I can. Here are my arguments. A bacteria specimen, the vaccine, the blueprints, and the map charting the course of the pest. Are you sure there's nothing else you'd like to tell me? I'm sure, Commander. The choice has been made. Let the tower remain, whatever the cost. Nothing like it will ever be built again. It is not a mere building, but a symbol. It allows us to hope of a possibility that some false truths of our ill-fated epic might be overthrown. It is a delicate fortress that holds variable proof that however well established our notions of possibility are, they still fail to account for what may or may not exist. This is the bastion I am willing to fight for. As for the powers that be, they're going to regret their hypocrisy. They were so determined to force me to observe the promise I gave not to disappoint. The town they are so fond of will be reduced to rubble. This I have spoken.
I'm fever.
Is that it? Do I rest till midnight now? Alright, let's go home, sleep till midnight, and see what happens. Unless we can... You know, can we fail the day's quest? Can we just not show up at the cathedral and let it be a stalemate? I guess we could. I guess we could also have done that by telling Block that I refuse to choose which one of these, but no. No, I'd said multiple times that this town should be leveled, its people destroyed for not caring about the epidemic very much. But maybe they couldn't have helped it to begin with. It's not like they were actually in any control of their actions to begin with, right? They were coded the way they were. And the game has acknowledged this to us earlier, which I find very, very funny. Let's see if we get an ending cutscene.
You did it? It was a free choice. We acknowledge the victory of the player.
It is indeed miraculous. The exit is clear. It shouldn't have happened. The miracle must be real.
Oh my god, did you see how hot Maria looked? Her outfit is amazing! Holy crap! Oh my god, she was so beautiful. So now we return to us, the player, looking at the dolls. And we had chosen the Bachelor to start with. Amazing. I wonder if Clara's way of solving the puzzle is to actually convince the children to let both live, or that they don't need to destroy, they can cure the town themselves or something of the sort. Alright, well, let's walk out, I suppose, and see what happens. Oh, let's walk out, I suppose, and see what happens with the other door. Will we get ending credits? We will. All right. Well, everyone, that was Pathologic HD. I very much like this game. I don't know what score I can give it yet, though. I'm going to have to write up the review now and put together one more video at the end of this where I go ahead and cover my thoughts about it. That was a very interesting ending. Well, especially when we found out about that... and apparently it's true, that this was all a game invented by two children because they were bored and they didn't have anything to do. That's very interesting. I suppose in a way we could consider the video game to be an accurate representation of that, right? There were some designers. Some guy had an idea of a game he wanted to make. He was bored. He wanted something to do. He made this game and we played through it as one of the players for it. Really well done. Really well done. Perhaps I am giving too much credit for this train of thought, but I liked it, and I suppose it helped that I anticipated something like this was going on throughout, I'd say, most of the game. Especially when I had started playing the Doctor over again and paid special attention to the beginning of it, with it's stuffed, and I'm like, oh, maybe none of this is real. And we didn't have the name of a town, for example, or where we even came from was, none of that information was made known to us. The music for this game was also amazing. Holy crap. And Maria, one more time. Oh my god. The ending outfit, that's amazing. That's amazing. She should have worn that the entire time. And we've done anything the Kings wanted. Yep. So anyway, I guess that's it, everyone. I can't think of anything else really to talk about. Should we talk about a handful more things? I mean, I'd like to. But I can't think of anything. So, and I want a whole lot's going through my head at the moment. So I think I should shut up, let the rest of the credits roll in silence, and then I will see you in the next video, everyone, where I will review this game. So I will see you then.